For your training enjoyment, a Vibroacoustics talk we hosted at AHHA Wellness this early August.
Sound Lounge. Let's talk about the Sound Lounge. All right, first things first. Let's all just get our feet planted firmly on the floor, or you guys in the recliners, chill. If you guys at home, feet planted on the ground, let's just start with a couple deep breaths together and just ground in. You guys ready? Yeah. I put my palms up. You can put your palms up, however you're comfortable. Relax the body. Keep the back straight. That's right. You got this, Dave. And just a nice deep breath in through the nose, holding your breath at the top. Exhale toxins out through the mouth. Nice deep cleansing breath in through the nose. Exhale toxins out through the mouth. Yeah, feels good just to breathe for a second. All right. Let's start by thanking Jules and the proprietor of this amazing establishment that I wish everybody can see. I'm going to talk to you guys, and I'm going to talk to you guys, and we're just going to have this whole big talk. Jules, thank you very much for hosting us and having us here. Denise is traveling with us. Thank you, Denise. Us, like it's like me, Unity, my RV, and my Sound Lounges, and Denise. It's like we're a we. Anyhow, thank you very much for having us. I really appreciate it. Right? It's been pretty epic as we travel around the country. So my name is Craig Goldberg, and I'm with a company called Holistic Health Science. We make and manufacture these amazing pieces of technology that are sitting before me called the Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, or Vassal Systems is a term that we've coined and that we are working through as these are Vassal systems. So we're a sound and technology company. And for the next 6-7 hours, we're going to talk, no, I'm just kidding. For the next 20-30 minutes, we'll talk about Sound Lounge technology. We'll talk about some of the music that we listen through through it. And if you guys have some questions, we can ask some questions, and then we'll turn off the cameras and we'll have some fun listening to our music that ships with it, made by Bioharmonic Technologies, as well as some other fun stuff that I listen to on a regular basis. That sound good?
That's great.
Cool. Got to get up and use the restroom. It's towards the back. If you have a question about something I'm talking about, raise your hand and let's make this a nice engaging conversation, because I could just keep talking and you guys will keep looking and it'll be dark out, and anyway, let's do that. Sound good? All right, cool. So let's start with basically what we're looking at. So Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, they're a body of research called vibrational therapy, or VAT, V-A-T for short. The body of research, without getting into it in too much detail, it goes back about 40 years, roughly to the early 1980s. It officially began being studied by a guy by the name of Olav Skile in Norway. And basically, he started studying specific frequencies and their impact on the body. So a particular frequency brings a particular part of the body into what's called harmonic resonance. It's a fancy word for into balance, right? And they studied this, and they started to study lots of different frequencies. If you're familiar with tuning forks, or if you're familiar with crystal bowls, these all make a specific frequency. Now, tuning forks were originally used to tune instruments, and now they're using to tune one of the most powerful instruments on the planet, which is the human voice. There's a couple of other really interesting studies that's out there. They've actually studied different acoustic instruments and their ability to bring the body into harmonic resonance, to bring different organs into harmonic resonance. Any idea what instrument wins every single time? Anybody? It's not the Sound Lounge. The voice. The human voice. Every single time. So if you think back, but if you look back in the history books, right, cultures have been using sound throughout the millennia, right? We use it in dance, we use it in healing. Shamans have been using it, singing different ikarus to invoke different aspects of our spirituality. And on a physical level, we now have different instruments that allows us to measure harmonic resonance. It allows us to measure the particular frequencies that we're vibrating at, right? We can use EEGs to test the frequencies of our brain and the frequency patterns of our brain. So we have galvanic skin response. We have different biofeedback machines. We have lots of different resources today that allow us to really get behind the science, and holistic health science is hopefully going to be at the forefront of that very soon as we continue to do more and more science, and we'll release that science out to the marketplace. So it's really interesting. It's a body of research that talks about specific ailments, specific issues, specific disease. I'm not going to talk too much about that today. It's not something we really get involved with at Holistic Health Science. For us, it's more about vibroacoustics. It's more about the music that's being played through it and the experience that people have. We actually leave that to our practitioners and the folks that are out there using our technology, and some of the scientists as they start to study it as well. I'm going to go through our technology, the difference between the Vassal Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge, the Vassal Series 1, and the practitioner. I want to go through our music because it's a part of what we offer that I really truly believe is fantastic. Made by Dr. Stephen Schwartz, one of our co-founders of Bioharmonic Technologies. And I want to talk a little bit about some different ways that you can use it and some different ways that we've seen our technology get used as well. And if you've got questions, I've got answers. Sound good? Yes. All right. Cool. So let's start with a little bit of a history and a little bit of a background of our company and where we came from. We were founded just over 3 years ago. In July of 2016, Dominic and Dr. Steve started to create what would soon become the Vassal Series 1. 6 months of prototyping, and they had the Vassal Series 1, which is our flagship product. It's ergonomically designed. The technology that's inside both of these is something called a tactile transducer. Tactile transducer is a fancy word for half of a speaker. Okay? You've seen speakers, there aren't any in the ceiling here, but we're all familiar with speakers and what they do. They project sound onto our ears, and that's how we actually hear sound. What we're doing with the Vibroacoustic Sound Lounge is we're actually upgrading the listening experience from auditory to physical. So you actually feel the music with every cell of your body. You're laying in the same frequency that you're hearing through your ears. And we can talk about that for a second, right? Because without getting too deep into the consciousness conversation, we're interpreting this environment, right? If you've seen The Matrix, you're interpreting this environment through electrical signals that are being sent from my eyes, my ears, my skin, as I feel the air and its temperature, and I feel the floor and the seat on my bottom, and I see all of you beautiful faces looking back at me, and I hear all of the sounds that are coming out, right? What are those really? They're electrical signals, as Doc, you can talk about as a chiropractor, right? The neurology and the background of it. You're talking about electrical signals interpreted by the brain. So the body, and they all have limitations, right? So what we're looking at and seeing right now is the electromagnetic spectrum. There's one electromagnetic spectrum. The only difference between sound and light is speed or frequency. Sound is vibrating at a lower frequency than light. And as you work your way up from the lowest tones of sound to the highest pitches of light, all the way up through X-ray and gamma rays, right? You go from this long frequency wave to something that's super, super fast and that you can't even hear, see, or feel. In fact, it can pierce right through every one of us, right? Gamma rays, X-rays, these are high-powered, high-frequency. It's all part of the same frequency spectrum, right? So sound and what we can interpret as sound, our ears, generally speaking, we're hearing between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz, 22,000 hertz. And that certainly changes as we get older, right? But the body, well, we can feel a much broader, like you feel a rumble of bass that's far lower than something that you can actually hear, but you can feel it, right? We're familiar with this when we go to the movies or when we're listening to something that has a sound engineer that has put this together and the right equipment that can project that sound. So that's the technology that we use. It's called a tactile transducer, and it's a fancy word for half of a speaker. There are lots of different components inside a speaker, but the tactile transducer is one of two main components. The first is a tactile transducer, which I actually have out in the RV and should be right here, so I can show it to you. We'll do it for next time. Tactile transducer, it's a disc about this wide, it's maybe 2 inches tall. We make them specifically for our sound lounge to have a specific response and a specific frequency range. The frequency range, just to go back to what we just talked about, the frequency range of the tactile transducer is 20 hertz to 200 hertz. Okay? The frequency range of these Sennheiser headphones that come with the Vassal Series 1, 15 hertz to 22,000 hertz. Okay, so more in line with the human ear versus the low-end frequency that comes through the tactile transducer. So again, the tactile transducer moves the air, and the other big component of a speaker is the cone, which projects and pushes the sound. Now, when we're listening to music out of a stereo or in our car, that sound is being projected through air and onto us. Right? So I'll give you a couple of general kind of measuring sticks when it comes to sound and wattage, without getting into too much of the electronics and the electrical behind it. The Vassal Series 1 is powered by a 300 watt amplifier. The Practitioner powers 2 transducers, and it's a 100 watt amplifier. All right, we've all been to a concert, right? And you love every time he hits the bass or he slaps the bass, you kind of feel it in your chest. All right, those big stadium sound systems are anywhere between 80,000 watts and 400,000 watts. Okay, and I would argue that, and I would put this experience up to a concert experience any day of the week. Right now, you got 50,000 people versus the one, but nonetheless, you're getting a very similar experience because you're laying right up against it. All right? And it's that overlap, the transducers between 20 and 200 hertz, the headphones or the speaker between 15 and 22,000 hertz. It's that overlap between 20 and 200 hertz. The brain creates this 3D or three-dimensional, fully immersive experience. And for those of, has everybody been on the Sound Lounge, by the way?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool. So that's what creates that fully immersive experience that really allows the brain to kind of go on its journey, right? And to separate a little bit, and you kind of feel like you're floating, and you start to have all these different sensations. It's that overlap. The brain is, again, just looking at electrical inputs coming from your nervous system through touch, coming through your ears through sound. Your eyes are covered, or you might have the Inlight wellness system going, right? So it's that overlap that creates this kind of 3D fully immersive experience, very much like binaural beats, where you put one frequency in one ear, another frequency in the other ear, and the brain creates a third coherence. Right? Make sense? Any questions? Cool. You guys are all paying attention. I love it. It's amazing. So the Vassal Series 1. So we created this product. This is our flagship product, and we created it really to be our Cadillac, if you will. We took out all the stops on this one. It's ergonomically designed. It typically comes on an 18-inch platform, which is how you see it on the other side of this wall. Comes with Sennheiser headphones. Comes with a 300 watt amplifier. Comes with a 15 watt headphone amplifier, and that's to make sure we have enough power and enough juice going to the ears to really give you that full sound out of the ears. All of the custom cabling and everything that you need to rock and roll. It also comes with an Amazon Fire that comes preloaded with 41 different music programs by Bioharmonic Technologies, which is a sister company to Holistic Health Science. One of our co-founders, a chiropractor by the name of Dr. Steven Schwartz, he created all of the music that we play through and that ships with the Sound Lounge. This product came out we started shipping in November of 2016. So just over a year and a half ago. We're coming up on 2 years, actually. I believe August, we have the official birthday of the first prototype just passed a couple days ago, which is pretty exciting for us. We asked a lot of questions of people that have used the Sound Lounge, and frankly, we asked it of people that didn't buy the Sound Lounge. What do you love about it? What can we do differently? How can we make it better? And a number of people, particularly practitioners, I know I'm talking to a room of several practitioners, many practitioners. So in February of this year, we came out with our second product, which is the Practitioner. So the feedback that we got from the Vassal Series 1 of how we can make it better, there were a few things. First of all, they wanted it to be lighter. They wanted it to be thinner. They wanted it to be a face cutout so that you can lay face down, so that they can really work on a patient or client. They wanted stronger foam, so a little bit firmer foam so that you can really dig into a client, or a chiropractor might be able to adjust on it. They wanted a portable case, so we put it into a Pelican case, waterproof, weatherproof, really rugged case, probably overkill, but nonetheless, that's how we like to do things. They also said, I don't need headphones, I want a speaker because I'm engaged with my patient. I don't want cables and lines and things going on of that nature. we happen to send it with a pair of Bluetooth headphones, so that if you do want to create a fully immersive experience, you can. So we keep that. And then the other thing they said is, look, I just want the music. I don't need an Amazon Fire. I don't want to be switching between my music player and your music player. So just give me a download link for the music so that I can add it to my own. So that's what we did. So we put all of these things together. And they also wanted a bag. So this actually folds in half. Both units fold in half. We have a Velcro strap that comes around it, keeps it together. And you can actually throw that over your shoulder, put all the accoutrements inside a front pocket, close this down in one shoulder, and carry the amp, and you're on your way. Pretty amazing. I was actually floating around New York City doing demos with the practitioner. It was pretty awesome. So those are our 2 units. 2 transducers in the practitioner, 4 transducers in the Vassal Series 1. We use 100 watts of power with the practitioner, 300 watts of power for the bigger one. Frankly, this is overkill. They're 50 watts per transducer, so it happens to rip. Like, you've been on the practitioner. I don't think anybody else has.
I haven't tried.
You haven't tried it yet either.
Way more vibey.
It rips.
You really feel.
Yeah.
Like they're both amazing, and this one's just.
Yeah. The body is so much closer. There's less foam in between you and the transducer. You just feel it. It's a much more stronger. I keep it around 45 or 50% of its power. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. We get the question a lot, can you link them together? They happen to be linked together right now. So both of these are playing the same music. I did a demo a couple weeks ago where actually I had a husband and wife team that were each dropped in together. They were having their own experience, which is pretty rad. Anytime you're going to do that, you want to make sure you're using our amplifiers. The custom cabling is how it connects, but you want to make sure that you're powering the amplifiers and then connecting the amplifiers in and out. And you can daisy chain as many of them together as you'd like. We got a guy in Portugal right now buying 10 of these so that he can make a floor to what he calls the wall of sound. He has a 46 speaker stereo surround sound system in his healing center. 46. It's like amazing. We had a gal at One Love Festival who got on the Sound Lounge. She does sound for all of the big movies. She has a 13. She says, "Oh, I sit in sound all day long. This is amazing," because we were playing healing music and she was listening to movie and cinema music because that's what she does. She says, "I have a 13 speaker surround sound with subwoofers," and she's got a very full sound, and she loved the experience that she got from it. So we're pretty excited with the opportunities that we're coming across right now. The sound lounges have such a vast application. I mean, obviously we're sitting in a healing center, and by the way, for those of you that aren't here, because I don't have to tell you guys, this place rivals any type of healing center or spa that you would find in the most conscious of neighborhoods in Denver, the most conscious of neighborhoods in Encinitas. You've got light therapy, biomats, massage therapy, essential oils, the melt method. What did I miss? Sound lounges.
Sound lounge.
Obviously. Sound
Infrared
lounges.
sauna.
Infrared sauna's coming. I mean,
CBD, hemp
structured
oil.
water, CBD and hemp oil. Like, if you live within 50 miles of this place, it needs to be a regular stop. I'm just going to stop real quick for a commercial for AHHA Wellness.
And where are we?
We're in Mercer, Wisconsin. We're about 220 miles north of Madison. Give it up. That's right. We were just here for Loon Day. So that's a thing. The bird. 3,000, 4,000 people. It was epic. All right. Yet I digress. So different applications. So I travel all around the country, and I'm offering demos in lots of different environments. Obviously, in a wellness center, there's a fantastic application for it, for its healing properties and its healing opportunities. However, these are used all day, every day by professionals and entrepreneurs. I do demos at WeWorks across the country, which are co-working spaces. Entrepreneurs love it. I go to companies that want to bring this in to use
Like
this.
corporate wellness.
Exactly. It's like a nap room on steroids, right? Upgrade your nap room and put in a sound lounge. It's one thing to go in there and have a meditation room. It's another thing to have frequencies help you get to a meditative state, which is amazing. We can talk about that in a moment. I've got sales forces. We just did a demo at Toyota in Flagstaff, right? So their sales team was on it, using this as a tool to calm and relax the sales team, right? Which can be very excitable when things go their way or when things don't go their way. Use this as an opportunity to take a break, to clear the mind, to get set, and to get ready to rock. I know entrepreneurs that are using this in between companies. They're hopping from company to company, and they use the Sound Lounge session as a way for them to clear their head as they go from topic to topic. We've got NFL athletes that are using this as a recovery tool. We've got elite athletes, weekend warriors. We have life coaches that use this when they do seminars. They keep it in the back of the room to replenish and rejuvenate attendees at their events. We've got psychologists and psychiatrists. We've got, a whole wealth of medical practitioners that are using this on the cancer side and oncologists. It basically fits in any waiting room that you have. You can put a Sound Lounge in. People are in there getting surgery. It's great for the family to be able to sit and use the Sound Lounge to calm and relax their nervous system and relax as they're waiting for something to go down. It's great in the dentist's office. Anyway, the list goes on of how many different applications, and frankly, it's one of the things that I think are so excited in working with all of these visionaries is all of the different applications that we have. Our visionaries are our distributors. They're all over the country, including here in Mercer, and almost every single day we're bringing new applications to the way that the sound technology can be used, and it's just a really exciting time for us to be documenting and promoting and talking about such an amazing technology. Cool? Any questions? Cool. You guys are making my job easy. Just keep talking, Craig. No
Let's
problem.
go over a couple tracks of the music.
Yeah,
What you're
let's
at
talk.
next.
Yeah, let's talk about the music. So, you can listen to anything through the Sound Lounge. Literally, any music will play through the Sound Lounge. So, I've listened to the Grateful Dead. I've listened to Seal. Seal sounds amazing. Anybody love smooth jazz? Amazing. Like, smooth jazz. I have an Amazon playlist. It's atmospheric electronica, and we play it through it for we sit in front of a fire. We sit in front of a fire in Idlewild, and we were just running it through the speakers and had the sound lounges hooked up, and it was amazing. So you can listen to anything you want through it. Whatever your favorite music is, I welcome you to listen through it. Dark Side of the Moon sounds amazing. Sting sounds amazing. Rock and roll, 80s, 90s, 2000s, hip hop. You name it. It sounds fantastic.
My
Again,
daughter's 15-year-old friends think it's amazing. If they're silly music.
And they're listening to rap.
if you love it, you'll love it even more through the Sound Lounge, and what I tell people, because of the unique nature of the transducer right against your body, the low-end frequencies coming up through it. I'm just about 90% in bringing musicians to tears when they play their own music through it. Like 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, to tears at the end of it, because they haven't heard their music with such full sound and felt it from the inside out. So you can listen to anything through it, and I really urge and welcome people to do it. I listen to Ohm. I listen to like a choir of an Ohm. It's like, I imagine, I don't know what it's recorded, but it's Jonathan Goldman. It's called The Ultimate Ohm. It's 110 minutes of Ohm, and it doesn't end, and it feels amazing through the Sound Lounge. I look at a fractal kaleidoscope, and I almost always fall asleep, and I wake up feeling fantastic, right? So you can literally listen to anything through it. But let me talk more about Dr. Stephen Schwartz, chiropractor who created the technology, along with Dominic Carnevale, two co-founders of Holistic Health Science. Dr. Stephen Schwartz has a music company called Bioharmonic Technologies, and since 2007, he's been creating therapeutic music. So since 2007, he's been following the research of therapeutic music and of vibroacoustic therapy, and he's been looking at different frequencies and then grouping them together into playlists and songs to have a specific intended impact on the body. So we'll talk about some of them, and you can learn about a lot of these tracks on our website. Steve's recorded YouTube recordings, and there's training that you can look at. But I do want to talk about some of them because it talks to the wide use, especially from a therapeutic standpoint, that you can use it again. The vibroacoustic aspect of the technology is Holistic Health Science. The music is produced by Dr. Stephen Schwartz and Bioharmonic Technologies. And the first track that I usually start just about everybody with is a track called Energy Clearing. Energy Clearing calms and relaxes the nervous system. It's like sonic sage. It gives a reset to the body and to the mind. It has, on the surface, you're listening to gongs, Himalayan singing bowls, bells and chimes, and underneath it are spinal frequencies, which relax the spinal cord one vertebrae at a time. It's super soothing, it's super calming. It's something that I listen to on a good day 3 times a day. I'll do it as soon as I wake up, I'll do it before I go to bed, and I'll do it at some point in the middle of the day. It's one of the ones that I recommend for salespeople, For people that are on the phone, that are high energy, that are constantly interacting with other people, use this as a tool to reset and ground yourself in. Those spinal frequencies, to anybody that has anything going on in their back or their neck, super soothing and very, very calming. So energy clearing, there's 5 different tracks on that particular song. They all have a slightly different application. There's a guided meditation. There's a track listing to clear space in your dwelling. Energy clearing happens to be the track that I put on as soon as I turn on the sound lounges. In fact, as soon as I plug it in, whether I have somebody on or not, I put on energy clearing. It creates a vortex around the sound lounges, and believe it or not, every single person that I need to meet that day just comes right over. It's pretty remarkable and pretty amazing. Not to mention the fact that I'm also sitting next to it. I'm feeling the vibes. So are you feeling the vibes. And you push play, you turn it on, and it's filling the room with that frequency. Not only is the person that's on it getting, but so too is everybody else. And right now I have these linked together and I have the speaker on for the practitioner, so we're hearing it a little bit in the room itself. So that's body instrumental. Every morning, my morning meditation is, well, not every morning, I haven't been doing it lately, but I really miss it. Energy clearing. Yeah, I've been nonstop. So every morning I usually roll out of bed when there isn't somebody on my couch. I roll out of bed and I do energy clearing into abundance. It's on a playlist. I'm going to show you how to do playlists. And it rolls right from one to the other. Energy clearing into abundance. I call it my daily meditation. During energy clearing, I'm just thinking about gratitude and all the things. I'm sorry. Yes, you want to hear about it?
I want to do that.
Yeah, you want to hear about it? Absolutely.
Take me.
It's pretty incredible. All right, so during energy clearing, I'm just visualizing golden light, showering my body, repairing all my cells, typical meditation stuff. I say that in this room, and maybe not for everybody else that's out there, but I go through all the things I'm grateful for. I just think of my wife and work and my business partners and our visionaries and everybody that we're working with, and how grateful I am, and I fill myself with gratitude. I usually fall asleep. The initial bass drop, let's listen to it. The initial bass drop of abundance is powerful. Yeah. So the initial bass drop of abundance, I mean, let's, because it's not great.
So
Awesome, right? I mean, it, yeah, we can do it again.
seriously, it's like great.
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing.
Sometimes I just sit there and go like this. All right, so that usually snaps me out of wherever I am and grounds me right onto the sound lounge. It usually startles me like a cold shower. I explain this to people that haven't been on it ever before. I explain this intro. I say, words cannot prepare you for the initial bass drop of this track. Like a cold shower, it's going to tickle every single cell in your body. It's going to feel great, and that's going to happen in 3, 2, 1, and then you just hit it, and you just watch them go, whoa, right?
Feeling it too.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are all going to get to feel it. You guys can all, I mean, you can lay on it right now while I talk if you
All
really
right.
want to. Right?
Wait, hold me back.
Yeah, I mean, really, they're sitting
Nah,
there.
I'm
So I do that. And then for abundance is an amplifier, right? So abundance is an amplifier. It's an activator. It's an energizer. So it's a dance track. It's Dr. Steve's approach to integrating uplifting frequencies into dance music. And I think he did a phenomenal job. It's the kind of song that's stuck in your head all day in all the good ways. So I walk people through a meditation. I walk people through a visualization. And I share this with people, and you guys probably already know it. Maybe some people out there don't. The brain doesn't actually know the difference between reality and a dream. We can talk about sleep. We can get into some of that stuff if you guys really want to, but as you're going to sleep, the brain actually turns off your motor skills. The brain actually turns off your sensory expression and recognition, and you knock out. Because as you have a dream that you're being chased, or a dream that you're being hugged and loved by a bunch of people, the body will start to move because the brain can't tell the difference. So a good visualization practice is amazing because it programs your subconscious to go after the things that you want in a very natural, matter-of-fact kind of way. Just, this is what I'm doing. And as you're consciously focusing on a few items, your subconscious can charge towards all of the things that are amazing for you. So my visualization practice is done during abundance, an amplifier. So as I'm thinking about these things, I'm amplifying that throughout my body. It's a really powerful way to start the day, and frankly, some days I can't even listen to all of the music. I like take off the headphones and I'm just ready to go. Like, all right, let's go. So that's my morning meditation. Abundance comes from an album with another track called Transformation. And Transformation, the primary instrument is a didgeridoo, which is pretty amazing if you haven't felt a didge. One thing that I'll add is that not only can you listen to any type of music through it, but you can connect a mixer and you can use any type of input directly through the sound lounges as well. So we've had an electric harp, we've had an electric guitar. In fact, Steve had this at NAMM, which is it's a music instrument national conference. It's one of the biggest ones in the nation. And the bass guitar judges for the bass guitar contest were sitting on a Vassal Series 1, which were plugged into the bass guitarist playing the bass. I mean, it was like, talk about epic, right? So we've had like I said, electric harps. We've had voice. You can do NLP. You can do body hypnosis, full body hypnosis. You can do, you can sing through it. Remember, the voice is the most powerful instrument, wins every single time, so you can connect a microphone through it and play through that. So you can connect a multitude, and just a microphone with a didgeridoo is pretty epic and pretty amazing as well. So back to transformation. Transformation, the primary instrument is a didgeridoo. And for me, transformation creates space to come to a decision. We're all transforming in one way or another. Personal, business, we're constantly in transition. And we need to recognize that. We need to think through what the next step is a lot of times in whatever it is that this life throws at us and that we need to work our way through. So transformation, usually set an intention, discover what I want to look within me to discover, and then I listen to that particular track. There's a 20-minute version and a 30-minute version. The inflections in that track take the mind on quite the roller coaster. It's pretty wild, that particular track. So that is Transformation and Abundance. The next track I'll talk about is called Cell Cleanser. Cell Cleanser is a cellular detoxifier. We've done preliminary EEG testing on basically like a swim cap with a 19-point harness on it to test brainwave states, and we did before, during, and after for Cell Cleanser and Abundance. Cell Cleanser induces a theta brainwave state in our early findings. Theta brainwave state is the same brainwave state you're in during REM sleep. It's restorative, it's rejuvenative, and it's often when we wake up feeling groggy and we don't feel as though we got a good night's sleep, often we're not getting into that deep REM sleep for a variety of different reasons: light, sound, dogs, kids, spouse, loved one, whatever. But it's really important that we get that theta brainwave state and that we can have that time for, I describe it as the time for the brain and the body to kind of organize the desk. Take a desk that was lived in all day and just kind of organize things into piles, take some things off and file them, and just kind of get you to a nice clean workspace. And when we don't get that, Cell Cleanser is a great opportunity. So we've talked about now 3 tracks: energy clearing, Cell Cleanser, and Abundance. Those 3 are 53 minutes when you play them on a playlist. I call it Rejuvenation. And I actually have that set up on my sound lounge. Saturday night we had an event. It went until, 5 o'clock in the morning is when I finished breaking down this event that we did. I was up at 8 a.m. to start driving to Mercer. Oddly enough, I had lots of energy. Denise and I, we were jamming, we were talking, we got stuff going on in the R&D, we're trying to fill it and dump it. Anyway, it was like we were on like a little journey. Midway through the day, I was like, all right, I'm hopping on the sound lounge. I did 53 minutes rejuvenation, and I woke up feeling fantastic. Right? Energy clearing calms and relaxes me. Cell Cleanser puts me in a theta brainwave state, gives me that rest and relaxation, allows me to clear the mind. Also takes care of inflammation in the body and helps me to detoxify. And then Abundance just wakes me up, amplifies me, and gets me ready to rock and roll. It was really powerful. Very, very powerful. So Cell Cleanser, there's 2 versions there. There's a 20-minute version and a 30-minute version. You can listen to them by themselves if you have 20 or 30 minutes, or you can listen to them back to back. Our NFL guys use this as a recovery tool. Really powerful. It's a really good track for athletes and for sports enthusiasts. The next CD I'll talk about is is an album called Cellular Attunement. Cellular Attunement was originally made for a biofeedback machine called the EVOX, the electronic voice, which is a voice feedback, biofeedback machine. it's designed to work specifically with that in these 12 zones that analyze your voice and then feeds back a particular imbalance based on the frequencies of your voice. Pretty amazing technology. However, this album can be listened to from start to finish. And this album is almost like an emotional balancing. It's an hour long from start to finish. And if you wanted to work on it as a practitioner, you can play each song and work with the client on periods of uncomfortability based on the frequencies that they heard, and there might be something there that you need to explore and maybe talk about or churn up. Pretty interesting application. We have demo tracks that it ships with. We have Soniceuticals Volume 1. Soniceuticals Volume 1 is an album that Dr. Steve created for the physical body. The body of research is pretty interesting. So Steve wrote a book. It's called Primal Resonance, and it's all about optimal human performance. Has 10 chapters. Before it was a book, it was his practice in Colorado. It's an amazing book. If you haven't read it, I've read it twice. I highly recommend it on a regular basis. Soniceuticals, and really all of the research in that book is all based on practical application. Here in a wellness center, it's all the stuff that we know about, talking about sleep, talking about grading water and being hydrated, and the quality of the water, and the quality of your food, and less sugar and more healthy fats. All the stuff that we talk about. Steve researched all of this. He researched it quite detailed. And one of the things that I really love about Soniceuticals is it's all based on things that you find in nature. So the first track on there is called Bone Regeneration. So a cat purrs between 25 and 50 hertz. So when a cat injures itself, if you ever notice, it gets down into a ball and it purrs. Well, that purr is known to help it to regenerate and regenerate bone. Right? So think of all the things that you can apply that to. Pretty amazing. Right? There's science that backs up the spinal frequencies. There's science that backs up universal phi, which is another track that's on there. There's one for visceral healing, healing of the organs.
One of my favorites.
Wound healing, right? Upper extremities, lower extremities. The spinal frequencies by themselves in an ascending order to lift you up or a descending order to ground you in. And lots of different applications for that as well. So pretty amazing what you can get through Soniceuticals Volume 1.
The visceral healing one has a very good start too, I think.
Yeah. Neurostimulation, muscle relaxation also has, it's just a really powerful punch to it. Different strokes for different folks. People like different music. People don't like different music. There's arguments on both sides. If you don't like it, you probably need it. If you don't like it, you want it. You know what I'm saying, right? It's kind of the same with the essential oils. I don't like the smell of that. You better stuff your face in that, right? So it happens. I got a number of people in my life that don't like energy clearing, which to me, again, no judgment, but I happen to love that track. So different strokes, different folks. Again, I have a saying, and you can quote me on this: all roads lead to now, right? We all come from a different place, wherever that is. It led you to this room, it led you to this feed, it led you to this video. All roads lead to now. And the cultural conditioning that brought us here is perfect. It led us to this exact moment. And the things we like and the things we don't like are a product of this body, this vessel, and its interpretation of electrical signals in this environment and what that means in the brain. Anyhow, I diverge. Next track I want to talk about is Spectrum. So Spectrum's built around a body of research around ADD, ADHD, autism, depression, and anxiety. All of these disorders kind of come with a very similar frequency band, somewhere between 40 and 70 hertz, right? 48 hertz to 68 hertz. There's a slight variance in the research, but it's generally speaking 40 to 70 hertz. For me, and I listen to this on a regular basis, brain and nervous system balancing is how Dr. Steve explains it. For me, we're patterned people. I explain it this way, especially when I'm talking to people, and let's try this even with this subset. Everybody takes showers. How often is completely up to you. We're not going to talk about that today. But I promise you, and I can probably guess, that when you get out of the shower, every single shower you've taken that you can probably remember, do you dry yourself in the same pattern? Think about it. You come out, I dry my hair, then I dry my arms, then I dry my body, then my back, then I come up under my arms, right? We're pattern creatures. The brain develops these patterns, identifies these patterns, and then puts them into the background so that we can focus on the things that fall outside those patterns. It's a survival mechanism, right? Our eyes are designed to see motion. That's why if you guys all sat still and all of a sudden somebody moved, we would all notice it even at the corner of your eye. It's a survival mechanism, right? To see things that are out there. If it's bigger than you, you're its lunch. If it's bigger than you, it's your lunch. Now, of course, that's not the case today. Pretty interesting walking around the supermarket watching stuff scurry around anyhow.
I'm gonna eat you.
Right?
You look good for dinner.
You're bigger than me. I'm bigger than you.
It's super tasty.
So for me, Spectrum takes the brain on this stimulating, not in like I'm gonna stimulate you, but like in a like, wow, that's really stimulating, like invigorating, like wow, that really is captivating, right? So Spectrum takes my brain on this journey. It's this gradual increase and then fall, and gradual increase and fall, and they get longer with each time, and they're not the same length. So the brain becomes fixed on this constant increase of frequency. And of course, you've got other components as well that are built into all of the music, and I'll leave that for Dr. Steve and for you to read about online or watching our YouTube channel. But it really occupies the brain. So you come out of this 22-minute session, first of all, your brain has had a journey. And second, I come out just focused and ready to rock and roll. It brings out creativity. I'm going to sit down and do email. I'm going to sit down and do a particular project. A lot of times before I get into that, to give myself a break, I'll do 20 minutes of Spectrum. And then I'll listen to Spectrum through my computer speakers as well, just to kind of keep myself in that entrainment. So that's Spectrum, Transformation, Abundance, The Journey. So the most recent album is The Journey. And The Journey has 3 tracks on it, and they're 3 of Dr. Steve's newest tracks. The first is a track called Escape. And Escape was one that he made for let's call it a festival out in the desert where there's a lot of dust. So it has respiratory frequencies incorporated within it that are designed to open up the respiratory system and to promote a healthy respiratory function. So Escape, it's pretty wild and it takes you on a little bit of a journey by itself, but it's designed to help open up your respiratory. The second track on there is a track called Space. Space is an exciting one. We were just talking about this one beforehand. So Space actually has NASA frequencies. NASA records the frequencies of different planets, and those frequencies are incorporated into the music. It's a journey from Mars to Pluto, listening to different frequencies, and of course they're harmonized with other components as well. So it literally takes the mind on an intergalactic journey, which is pretty amazing. And then the last track that I'll talk about is a track called Who Am I? If you've heard of a hand drum, it's a very beautiful sounding instrument. Who Am I is kind of an introspective look of who we are on the inside. For a long while, I think about 6 months, I was actually listening to Who Am I on the first of every month as kind of a regular practice for me, which was pretty exciting. It's basically it. I can honestly tell you that there's nothing like Dr. Schwartz's music. It's not like typical music with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is very much a musical experience based on frequency for the mind and the body and the components. I urge you, go to our YouTube page, take a look at the videos that he's already recorded on his music, listening to the different components. Our visionaries get an in-depth look. They get to hear from him in a little bit of a deeper level. The music is really unlike anything else that's out there. But again, whatever tickles your fancy. I had a guy that got on 2 weeks ago in Chicago. He listened to, I think, Spectrum, or he listened to Transformation, and he got off it and he said, that sounds synthesized. And I said, well, what are you usually listening to? And he says Grateful Dead, and he starts the Carpenters, actually. I said, who's your favorite band? And he said the Carpenters. I said, great, let's put that on. He jammed out for 4 minutes or however long that track was. He blessed, a smile on his face was ear to ear. He got off it and he went, man, he said that's the shit, but whatever, right? I'm quoting. Like, that's the shit. I was like, cool. Hey, man, glad you enjoyed it. So, again, you can listen to anything through it. Anything you want me to elaborate on?
Yes.
Yes.
You talked about Spectrum for ADD, ADHD, depression, and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about patterns, so how does that...
I don't know. I'm not a
Okay.
doctor. I can
But
only repeat.
You mentioned how it helped you.
So for me, I have ADD and ADHD, right?
Okay.
I'm not officially diagnosed with it. My mother will tell you that she didn't want to have me go take the test, but I can tell you that just about all of us, as we're shaking our heads and nodding, all of us in this day and age have symptoms of ADD and ADHD. All right, you can thank Android and iPhone and notifications And all of these, frankly, multi-million dollar marketing campaigns, I'm a marketer, okay? There are literally companies that spend millions of dollars to get your attention. And they try and get your attention over and over again. I digress
Yeah.
a little bit. So look,
But
so
for
for
your
me,
experience, yes, you said,
So for
I
me-
feel more focused.
I feel more focused and I feel more at bay. It's very few and far between, we're all multitasking, right? It's few and far between that we sit and listen to one thing. So for me, when I lay down and I listen to Spectrum, I come out of it feeling laser focused, very, very focused on whatever that next task is. And I no longer feel the need to hop from topic to topic. I feel like I can be myopically focused on whatever that task is at hand.
Which is more peaceful and feels better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? It feels good to focus on one topic. There's you could read a lot of research on multitasking and how we actually are not designed to multitask. We should be focused on one thing. When you're multitasking, you're actually doing a bunch of things poorly instead of doing one thing really well. Thanks for listening, guys.
Gals. That's why you put that.
And
section
gals.
on for me, because you wanted me to focus and you knew that I'm easy.
Well, I just know that it's something that I want your children to.
You can ask. We can turn the camera off, and you can ask. You can ask
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Let's do
camera
that.
off.
Yeah. Bye,
Bye,
Facebook.
thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.